Very much, Captain Flowers. We are here ready to talk about this one. We've got a new guest here, Faith from UT Dallas, their jungler. Top 8 at the collegiate tournament, of course, really exceptional as well. You guys won the South Division. Sadly, you did lose to Columbia College, but losing the finalists, I think, is still a pretty good run. Talk to me about what this sort of season was like for you and your team.
It was a pretty successful season, I would say, especially considering our season prior to this. Without the support of our school, it was pretty hard for 5 players to come together, just 5 friends to come together and, perform our best. But I think all things considered, we did a pretty good job.
Yeah, I agree. Again, making it top 8, losing to one of the finalists is honestly a really, really good season. You're looking to do this again next year, I presume?
Yes. None of our players are graduating, so I think that we'll have a pretty similar roster for next year.
That's something I like about this tournament is there's not many seniors in it, so a lot of grudge matches hopefully coming back next year. Hopefully you can get your revenge against some of these Columbia fans.
Gotta clap it for next year. Of course, so let's talk about the game that we did have here. 2-0 start to UCI. This game, really close though, honestly. There's a while where it felt like Columbia had the advantage in this one. We have the champions on your screen right there, as far as the champion select was going. Anything you saw that sort of struck you in champ select?
I think that UCI definitely got 5 priority picks. I like Columbia's comp, but UCI's comp just outclasses it.
I think it was nice to see Columbia kind of go to what we were saying was lacking in the previous game, some playmaking on some of the other carries, but I think Julian had a much better game this time around, not stuck on his Karma pick. Unfortunately for Stumpy, did not go nearly as well as they got to play that skill matchup. Aurelia Jackson kind of fell behind. Youngbin did camp him a little bit, but he definitely underperformed in this game.
Right, and it sort of spoke to why Red Soda's picked up, right? They saw the Aurelia, then went for the Jax. It was a matchup where I think Azael said as long as you can go equal in farm, you'll then get to outscale later on. And he never got to really play fair 1v1 was the thing. Yeah, right? It was like constantly he would be tower dome, and he would then collapse afterwards. But again, the sort of UCI having better macro sort of came true, where even if the 1v1 is supposed to be good, it didn't matter to get it to 2v1 constantly. And that seemed to be kind of the name of the game here. Again, better macro ended up winning the day.
Yeah, and I think you have to give a tip of the cap also to Dean's Tom Kench. I think there were a number of times it came up pretty big over the course of this game, but the bot lanes are mostly non-interactive too much. It's a lot of farming, and then eventually you see these other plays happening around the map. Desperton having some really good plays on Zoe.
Do you think we'd see in game 3 and maybe 4 and 5, you see more roaming supports, you bring up a threat for an Alistar and you try to affect the maps because the bottom lane isn't fighting that much anyway?
Potentially, I think it's one of those things where you have to find a way to stabilize the soul laners first. Would be like, well, what do we need to do in the draft? That'd be like what I'm talking about right here. All right, Stumpy, you went, 2-7 or was down 30 CS. Yeah, you got camp, but what do we need to do to get a better performance out of you? Do you need more jungle attention or something like that?
Fair enough. So let's talk about what did happen in the game, of course, as we go on. We have some replays to talk about here. One of the big ones, a mid-game team fight. The UCI came out ahead. This felt like a fairly late Dragon contest from Columbia College.
Do you think you would have wanted to continue to fight this after the Dragon goes down, Faith, or would you have backed off here?
For Columbia?
Yeah.
No, definitely not. You can kind of see what happened, actually. Stumpy was by himself. He got pulled in by Skarner. It was a nice set jolt that separated the team. I think that Latman could have played more aggressive here. I don't think he needed the flash there because, he can just run him down. But Deskertown had a good chase after this.
Yeah, Deskertown having some big cojones on the big stage, kind of flashing in with no HP, down to 20 HP,
40,
picks up a flash, flashes on another flash, flashes over the Varus E.
I like it.
Yeah, sets up, he goes down for it, but it is what finally lets Latman get back in range to clean up the rest of these kills. So good team play, Deskertown giving his body up for the rest of the team, but absolutely the right choice. It was a very close fight that could have gone pretty bad for them.
Yeah. It's one of those not KDA plays, right? You add a death to it, and you're like, my scoreline went down. But
not a good player, dude.
Yeah, KDA, all that matters, so sorry. Nick, you're going to get cut for the next one, I think, new player coming in maybe. But yeah, it does feel like UCI, again, just showing that they made a slightly stronger stuff. The rest of that mid-game was a lot closer again. Columbia College had a lot of good plays, but we have another replay coming up, which is the sort of penultimate fight here where these picks kind of seal the game for Baron.
It definitely kind of broke down a little bit for both teams. This is actually going to end up in the second Baron of the game because Columbia College got one off some picks that they found on UCI. This time it's the other way around, UCI finding some pickoffs. They get Dean first, who had done a really good job of saving targets when Aurelia and Skarner would go in, or transporting people to counter out some of the other global plays. But that time not working out, he gets caught, Stumpy gets caught. They eventually find Bucksack the jungler, and this is going to allow them to take a pretty free Baron, which they pushed with pretty well.
Yeah, Kiss, that's natural.
But you didn't like it?
Yeah, it's natural thing there.
Yeah, it speeds up. Mercurial, right?
Yeah.
Scimitars coming through. I don't know if you had it yet.
I don't think he had it yet.
Okay, then it's rolling through. I remember that happened actually with the Tom Shanks once as well. He burns QSS on like a sleep or something, and he doesn't have a responder pull, and it's like, feels bad. Again, this game was a lot closer. Like, you saw the first game gold graph, and it was just downhill in a sea of red. This one, you saw that dip where, like, Columbia College had time in the middle. Like, when you have a game like this, right, like, is it like, okay, we know we can win, like, we had this good mid-game. Like, do you fire yourself back up if you're Columbia College here?
For UCD, no, but if you're Columbia,
yeah. 2-0 means you're already out.
Yeah.
Mental boom.
Yeah.
There's big performance difference between the Aurelia and the Jacks, not just in terms of like some of the stats you see, like the damage numbers, the deaths and stuff, but just game influence as well. Even once the Baron ended up on the Jacks, he wasn't really finding the backline to solo out. Zoe and Ezreal were being very mobile, and a lot of their fights worked the best when they would engage onto Jacks, and so didn't really have a chance to do Jacks things for much of this game.
Yeah, it's kind of too bad. So did get informed Red Side picked once again. UCI, of course, their choice in Game 3 is the higher seed. Back to Red Side. So yeah, Red Side clearly the side of the day for this one. I assume we're going to see more top lane counter picks. Anything special you think has to come out now for Columbia College because they have to blind something?
Personally, I think they're kind of doomed.
Fair enough.
I think UCI has a good strat of triple banning 3 mids, which is Julian's whole champ pool, and then counter picking top, which is like their only remaining win condition. So I think that they're pretty set to win.
All right, so you're the jungler. It falls on you now to find some cheesy pick to get your team to lead. What would be your cheese pick that you fall back to when you need to just put on the carry pants yourself?
My cheese pick?
Yeah, yours.
We'll go with Kane.
Kane 1v9?
On this patch, not on current.
Sure, okay.
Yeah. Current patch is a little different.
Yeah.
From what I hear.
Gonna be a fun one. Get your mid laner to play some Tarek, pick up the Master Yi maybe, go for the 2v8 on this one. Either way, Columbia College and UCI have been trading blows, but it is now do or die for the representatives of the Northern Conference. We'll see if they can extend the series or if UCI claims a championship in 3 straight games after the break.